The storm rolled in just after midnight, thick clouds swallowing the moon and sky until everything was the same endless shade of black. The wind screamed through the trees, carrying the scent of wet earth and something faintly metallic, like rust or blood. Mark's truck groaned as he turned onto the dirt road leading to the old farmhouse, tires skidding through puddles that reflected brief flashes of lightning. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tight that his knuckles turned white. Anna wasn't answering her phone. He'd found her bicycle earlier that evening, leaning crookedly against the fence near the orchard. The back tire was still spinning, squeaking quietly in the rain. No sign of her, just her footprints, small, bare, and scattered, leading into the trees. She had run, or maybe she'd been chased. The thought made his stomach twist. When he reached the house, it looked worse than he remembered. Windows cracked, door hanging loose, shingles peeled away like old bark. No lights inside, no sound except the endless rain. "Anna," he called out, his voice snatched by the wind. The silence that followed was so deep it almost hummed. He grabbed his flashlight from the truck and started toward the orchard. The beam danced weakly, slicing through sheets of rain and fog. Each tree stood like a shadowed skeleton, their branches tangled like hands. Somewhere far off, thunder growled. He stepped carefully between the roots, calling her name again and again, the sound breaking with fear. "Anna, it's me, it's Mark. Where are you?" No answer, until a faint noise drifted through the storm. A soft whimper. He froze, every muscle tightening. It came again, closer this time. He followed it, flashlight trembling in his grip, heart hammering so hard it drowned the wind. The orchard opened into a clearing, and that's when he saw her. She was lying in the mud, half covered by a strange white cloth that gleamed faintly in the flashlight's beam. It wasn't a blanket, it was too smooth, too seamless, as if it had grown around her. Her long hair was matted to her face, her skin pale against the dark earth. He rushed to her side, slipping in the mud, dropping to his knees beside her. "Anna," he shouted, brushing her hair away from her face. Her eyes fluttered open, unfocused. She tried to speak, but only a choked gasp escaped. "Mark," she whispered, voice shaking. "I can't breathe." He felt ice flood his veins. "Hold on," he said, hands fumbling to pull the cloth away from her chest. But it wouldn't move. It clung to her skin, slick and warm, like it was alive. His fingers slipped off as if the material didn't want to be touched. He tried again, yanking harder, feeling something inside the fabric shift beneath his grip. "Please," she wheezed, her eyes wide now, glistening with tears. "Get it off." He tore at the edges, desperate. The flashlight rolled aside, casting long, crooked shadows across the clearing. For a second, he thought he saw the fabric pulse, just faintly, in rhythm with her heartbeat. Then it tightened, constricting around her chest. Anna let out a strangled cry. "It's burning. Stay with me," Mark shouted. "I'm going to help you, I promise." His hands shook violently as he pulled at the material, but it wouldn't rip. It stretched like skin but never tore. Beneath it, he could hear something, a soft, rhythmic sound, like breathing that wasn't hers. The wind howled louder, and a sudden flash of lightning lit the orchard in a ghostly blue. For an instant, the fabric shimmered, revealing something dark moving underneath, veins. Worms, he couldn't tell. Then the light was gone, and everything was darkness again. "Mark," Anna's voice was fading, thin as the wind. Her fingers clutched his wrist, cold and trembling. "Don't let it take me." He didn't understand. His pulse roared in his ears, his breath coming in sharp bursts. "Take you? What are you talking about?" But she couldn't answer. Her eyes rolled back, her body convulsing once, then going eerily still. The cloth shimmered again, the same slow, deliberate movement, as though it was breathing for her now. Mark felt the ground tilt beneath him, nausea crawling up his throat. He snatched the flashlight and shone it directly onto the cloth. For a second, he thought he saw faces pressed into it, faint outlines, screaming silently from within the fabric. He blinked, and they were gone. The storm refused to let up. Rain hammered the orchard, bouncing off the white fabric as if it didn't want to be touched by the world around it. Mark could barely hear his own breathing over the wind, could hardly think through the terror crawling up his spine. The flashlight flickered, throwing frantic, strobing flashes of light over Anna's still body. He pressed his ear to her chest. Nothing, no heartbeat, but something else was there. A faint hum, mechanical and organic at once, thrumming beneath the skin of that impossible cloth. Mark jerked back. "What the hell is this?" He gasped, eyes darting between Anna's motionless face and the strange covering. It was glowing faintly now, a bluish pulse that seemed to ripple outward in slow, deliberate waves. He reached for it again, ignoring the instinct screaming in his mind to stop. When his fingers brushed the surface, heat seared his skin. He yelped, pulling back to see dark welts forming across his palm, as though the cloth had burned him. Anna stirred, her lips trembled, her eyelids fluttering. "It's burning," she whispered, each word labored and fragile. "It's inside me." "What's inside you?" Mark shouted through the storm. "Tell me, Anna." Her body jerked violently, spine arching as the cloth tightened around her like a living cocoon. Beneath it, something moved, a subtle, writhing motion, as if hundreds of invisible tendrils were twisting beneath the surface. Mark's breath hitched. "No, no, no, no," he muttered, fumbling for the hunting knife clipped to his belt. "I'm cutting it off." He plunged the blade into the edge of the cloth, but instead of slicing, it sank. The material swallowed the knife like water. He tried to pull it back, but it wouldn't budge. The handle vibrated, then cracked in two with a metallic snap, leaving half the blade inside. A moment later, the cloth exhaled, a low hiss, and the blade spat back out, corroded and blackened as if it had aged 100 years in seconds. Mark stumbled backward, the mud cold beneath his knees. His pulse pounded in his ears. He didn't believe in monsters, or curses, or anything that couldn't be explained, until now. The sound came next, a low murmur, like voices underwater. He thought it was the storm at first, but no, it came from the cloth. Whispers, layered and tangled, whispering in a language that made his head ache. Anna's body convulsed again, and for an instant, her eyes shot open, glowing faintly blue, unfocused and glassy. "Anna," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Talk to me, please." She turned her head toward him with jerky, unnatural movement. "Don't uncover it," she said, but her voice wasn't hers anymore. It was deeper, distorted, as if something else spoke through her. The words slid from her lips like oil, thick and cold. Mark's stomach dropped. "What did you just say?" "Don't uncover it." The orchard suddenly felt smaller, the darkness closing in like a shroud. The rain had turned to mist now, hanging heavy in the air. He wanted to run, every instinct told him to, but his sister's body held him there. He couldn't leave her, he wouldn't. He grabbed the cloth again, ignoring the burns on his hands. "I don't care what this is," he growled, tears mixing with the rain on his face. "You're not taking her." As he pulled, the air around him seemed to thicken. The ground trembled slightly, the trees creaking and bending as though bowing toward the clearing. He felt pressure build in his ears, a deep hum vibrating through the soil, through his bones. The cloth resisted at first, stretching, tightening, almost breathing. "Let her go," Mark screamed, yanking with all his strength. Then it happened, the flashlight died. Darkness swallowed everything, only the rain remained, a deafening roar that seemed to come from all directions. Then, beneath it, another sound, a heartbeat. Slow, heavy, and not human. "Mark," came the whisper again. This time it was right beside him. He froze. "Anna." No answer. He turned toward where her voice had come from, but the darkness was complete. Something wet brushed against his cheek. He thought it was rain, until it moved against him, curling like a hand. "Please," he choked out. "Don't do this. Anna, I'm begging you." Lightning flashed, and for a split second, he saw everything. For a heartbeat, the world was silent. No rain, no thunder, no breath, just the heavy stillness that comes before something irreversible. Then the wind roared back with a vengeance, and Mark tore the last of the cloth away. The sight beneath it froze him where he knelt. Anna's chest rose and fell, but it wasn't breathing. The motion was wrong, mechanical, jerking, like something inside her was forcing the movement from within. Her skin had turned the color of porcelain, veins glowing faintly blue beneath the surface. Her hair clung to her face, soaked and lifeless, but her eyes were wide open, blazing with a cold light that didn't belong to her. "Anna," Mark whispered, his voice cracking. He reached for her face, hesitant, terrified. "It's over, okay, I've got you." Her lips parted, and for a moment he thought she was going to answer. But what came out wasn't a breath, it was a hiss. The sound scraped the air, sharp and wet, like steam escaping from deep underground. Then she smiled, not the way Anna used to smile. This one was stretched too far, wrong in every way, like her face had forgotten how human muscles should move. "You shouldn't have looked," she said softly, the words echoing as if several voices spoke through her at once. Mark stumbled backward, slipping in the mud. "What are you?" The ground beneath her rippled. The white cloth, now torn and bloodied, twitched as if still alive. It began to pull itself together, fibers twisting and reweaving, creeping toward him like a living tide. He scrambled away, boots sliding, but the material followed, slithering over the wet soil with horrifying grace. "Anna, stop this," he yelled, but deep down, he already knew it wasn't her anymore. Her body jerked to its feet with a marionette's stiffness. Water poured from her hair as she tilted her head, eyes fixed on him. There was something vast behind them, not human, not even earthly. "You freed it," she said. "It wanted you to." "Freed what?" he demanded, but the words came out small, almost swallowed by the wind. The lightning flashed again, and in that blinding white light, he saw movement all around him, the orchard itself shifting. The trees bent inward, their bark slick and pulsing like veins. From the soil, more of the white material began to surface, snaking upward, wrapping around roots, trunks, stones. The orchard was becoming one breathing, growing thing. Anna, or the thing wearing her, took a step forward. Her feet didn't disturb the mud. The rain parted around her, falling in an invisible circle that never touched her body. "It remembers you," she said, voice layered with something ancient. "It remembers everyone who ever tore it open." Mark's mind raced, desperate for logic where none existed. He snatched a broken branch from the ground, brandishing it like a weapon, though his hands trembled so hard he could barely keep hold. "Stay back." She tilted her head again, curious, almost pitying. "You still think this is about her?" she whispered. "You still think she's here?" The words hit like a blade. He felt his throat close. "Don't you dare say that," he rasped. "Look," she murmured, and then her face began to change. The skin rippled, melting like wax under heat, and beneath it, he saw flashes, not of his sister, but of others. Dozens of faces, men and women and children, all twisted in agony, pressing against her skin from the inside, trying to get out. Their mouths opened, but only a single voice emerged, the same, unearthly whisper. "Join us." The cloth struck first. It lunged from the ground, wrapping around his leg before he could move. Cold fire burned through his veins as it touched him. He screamed, tearing at it, but it only tightened. He grabbed a rock, smashing it against the fabric, and this time, it screamed back, not with sound, but with vibration that rattled his teeth. Anna moved closer. The smell of iron filled the air. "Don't fight it," she said, almost tenderly. "It hurts less if you don't." The cloth reached his waist. He felt it crawling under his skin, merging, rewriting him. His vision blurred, colors bleeding into each other. He reached out one last time, not to fight, but to touch her face, the face he once knew. "Anna," he whispered, "I'm sorry." For a heartbeat, her eyes flickered, the faintest glimmer of recognition. Then she blinked, and it was gone. The light swallowed him whole.